Welcome back to Hitting the Bars. We have a very exciting podcast today. We actually have our very first guest ever, and I'm excited to introduce her as she's one of my near and dear friends. We met each other on basically a blind friend date. I'll give you a little hint of her. She's a TikTok queen. She's also, signed with Gymshark, and she speaks another language, Farsi. Introducing Nona.
Yes.
Bayat?
Yeah,
Am I saying your last name right?
I'm so
Nice,
honored.
okay.
So honored to be here. Like, literally, when you told me, I was smiling, like, cheek to cheek. Yeah.
You were the first person that popped in our head. We were like, we have to get Nona on. Plus,
Yes.
she loves us. She's one of our besties, so it's like easy.
Exactly.
Nice little chat.
As much as I know the audience wants to see you guys, selfishly, I was like, I just want a girl chat, the three of us.
Honestly, same. It feels so nice. I feel like we haven't talked in a
100%.
while, so it's like a nice catch up.
I know, I love it. I do have to pipe in. You have to, I don't know, we're going improv right here, but blind friend date?
Yeah.
Can you give a little insight to that?
Yeah.
What happened there? How'd you guys meet?
Nona, do you remember? Your face looks like you don't remember it, but I will preface.
It was at the Gymshark event.
No, girlfriend.
Wait.
So Christy, our Gymshark
Oh
manager.
my god, yeah. I remember.
Yeah.
We met. We had a date.
Yes.
We straight up we had a date.
Yeah.
Oh my god, I remember. Yeah, I came over.
Yeah, you had joined the Gymshark fam, and Christy was always like, she'd call me, and because I want to make all these friends, so she was like, I know you are always down to do this. This girl Nona, she's on TikTok. I remember looking up your TikTok, and I was like, wow, she's so beautiful. This is so intimidating, but why not? So I remember I slid into your DMs and was like, hey, Christy said we should hang out, and then you came to Huntington Beach.
I remember. And then we worked out, and we walked to the beach.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my god, that was
we
so
talked
cute.
about life, and that's how we became
Yeah.
friends. How did you and Keltie meet?
Honestly,
We met.
it was,
We were social media friends, and then we met in person at the Whitney event. Right?
exactly. It was just one of those,
yeah.
it's always a funny situation when you, follow someone and you're like, I don't know if they even know me, if they remember me or anything. And, me, Nona was just instant, hi, how's it going? Love you. And then, yeah, the rest is history. And it was just, I feel, just, honestly, with Sav, both of you guys, that's how I just knew. You just meet someone, and I was like,
I
just soul
know.
sisters. It was just, intertwined perfectly.
Literally just good vibes.
I know. That's what it is. It's just girls that are, you guys are
Yeah.
raised as sunshines. So in person. So that's what I love.
Oh, shucks.
Literally.
Everyone listening.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was
they're
vomit.
wow, can you stop now?
Can you tell we're all in love? Okay, let us love.
Yeah.
Literally.
Yeah. We'll bring it back to really why we are here,
Yes.
and that is, Nona, do you want to give the audience, give the gals a little, I know everyone does this when they do interviews, but I want to know, how the heck did you get into fitness, and how did you stumble into doing TikTok? You're such a queen on that, and I feel like you just blew up, and so many men and women look up to you. So take the mic, ma'am.
I am flattered. I am honored. So I was a swimmer all my life. I think I started swimming 9 years old, and then I was in competitive swim, and then my favorite coach quit. So I was like, if he's going, I'm going. I quit, and then I was low-key falling out of love with swim too. So it was the perfect time. And then I was like, wait, no, I need to be active. I need to do something. And I feel all retired athletes resort to the gym. So that's where I ended up, the gym. And I fell in love. And I was like, wow, this is actually pretty sick, because I've never felt so empowered before, lifting weights and stuff, and it sculpted my body in a way, and my mind in a way that I could have never imagined. So I fell in love. I love
it.
And then in regards to social media, it was crazy, because I've never been big on social media. I had 500 followers, and that was mutuals, friends that I know from high school and stuff like that. And it was January 2020. I was coming back from the campus gym, and I told my roommate, I was like, hey, you know what? Just record my ab workout. And she recorded it, posted it, it went viral, and then every other video was doing really well after that. And I was like, you know what? I'm just gonna continue doing this. It's really fun. So yeah, it was nice. Like, and then just like the impact that you would make, just like posting your workout routines, and then like the support, and just like it's something that I wouldn't have ever imagined. I'm so grateful for.
Wow, that's amazing. And okay, wait, you are like known for your body and your abs, Missy. What's your secret?
Consistency. It's consistency.
Do you train them individually? Like do you section off your abs and do a lot of ab workouts?
So like I do my ab workout at the end of like my workout. Like I don't skip them. I try not to skip them. But yeah, and it helps a lot. And I've like noticed like when I don't do that, like it makes a difference. It does. For me, at least.
It's not sexy.
Oh,
sorry. I was just going to say, it's not sexy, but I feel that's everyone does it. We're all guilty of it. Like, we leave abs to the end, and then we never do it because we did our whole workout. We're like, and then we're like, why don't we have abs? And then Nona's over here with abs. And, like, it's not sexy, but it's literally like, at the end of the workout, do your abs.
Yeah. Or even at the beginning, so you don't skip them.
Just don't skip them.
Yeah.
You're one of, like, the few people that I know, though, that you're, like, you've told me, like, if you're consistent with, like, sectioning off your abs, like, it will show for you. Like, it will prevail. Where a lot of people are, like, you know, and it totally depends on your body. Like, some people, it's their diet. It's dependent completely on your body fat percentage or your genetics. But you're, like, the one that you're like, Sav, remember to do your abs. I promise you it will work. And I'm like, okay, good to know.
Yeah, there's a lot of, like, I don't know, like, opinions in regards to it. And I definitely do. Like, there's some people who, like, never work out and straight up have six packs. But I've never been that person. Like, I gain weight really easily and I lose my abs extremely easily. Like, if I don't work out for, like, 1 week, I'll start losing definition really fast. And what I've noticed is that, you know what, a lot of people say, like, don't train abs, it doesn't work. But again, like, same thing with your biceps, same thing with your triceps, like, your shoulders, you know, like, I feel like at the end of the day, yes, you do have to, like, drop body fat percentage, because any part of your muscle will pop even more when you, like, drop down body fat percentage. But, like, your abdominals are, like, your centerpiece. Like, you should be strengthening your core, you know? It helps with your stability. It helps with, like, lessening lower back pain, or, like, protecting your spine and all that. So, like, I feel like you should never skip core days.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
And, okay, speaking of lower back pain, do we want to talk about what happened to you? What, a year ago? 2 years when we met?
It was 2 years. Oh, no, it was a year ago. Wow. A year already. That's crazy. But I sneezed. And I basically, like, displaced two of my discs in my lumbar spine.
That is truly the craziest thing I've ever heard. And it makes me really fearful to sneeze.
I know.
For everyone listening,
it's crazy.
You were stretching, right? You're stretching your hamstring? Because everyone's like, wait, you're just walking around and stretch and you rupture your spine. She was doing something, but can you expand a bit more on that?
Yeah, so I was like, it was after my, like, run on the stairs, and I came down, I was stretching, I was lying down, I was pulling up my left hamstring to my chest, and then it was allergy season too, like pollen everywhere. I was like, achoo, and it was like a really, like, strong sneeze. Immediately, I felt like someone, like, shot me in the back. Like, I heard, like, a paw, and then I couldn't get up. I couldn't stand. I was like, yep, I'm out. This is it. This is the end of the career.
Oh my God.
Yeah, I had to call my roommate. I was like, girl, what are you doing right now? She's like, nothing, I'm chilling with my friend. I was like, you and your friend, can you guys come and, like, pick me up? And they physically picked me up on their back and took me to the campus hospital.
No. Oh no. I've even heard that story, but I'm just like, oh, it just breaks my heart for you.
Do you feel like you have PTSD? Like,
yeah.
Like, you're scared to sneeze?
Yeah, I was sneezing last night, and I was like, no.
If you're, like, stretching and you need to sneeze, do you, like, stand up immediately?
Yes.
Like,
immediately.
If there's one takeaway from this podcast, don't sneeze and stretch.
Yeah, please. And brace your core.
Yeah.
Well, yes.
Embrace her. Yeah, she's like, train the core.
I have, like, a technique now. I'm like, brace core, sneeze out, don't hold it in.
It's a science.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Crazy
Yeah.
man.
That is insane. Well, Nona, you are... So I feel like it's interesting because Keltie, her main platform is like YouTube. Like that's kind of how she started. I really started on Instagram and you started on TikTok. So like, I guess Keltie and I are curious because neither of us are like as involved in TikTok as you are. What would you say now that like you're dabbling with YouTube and dabbling with Instagram, like what's the main difference on your platforms?
I feel
like as in like comments or whatever it may be.
okay. I feel like as crazy as it is, TikTok is so supportive. Like at least my audience, like they really like I barely or rarely get like mean comments, and everyone's just like so nice. And then I feel like on Instagram, I get a lot of like nasty comments and from guys.
Oh, yeah.
And it's weird because my gender ratio is the same. But I feel like they're more hateful on Instagram rather than TikTok for me. Which is funny.
Dude, oh, go ahead, Keltie.
I was just going to say, I feel like a big difference between like TikTok and Instagram is like TikTok, you really follow people for like their content and the personality versus like Instagram's a lot of like, oh, this person looks good. I want to stare at them. So it's kind of naturally like geared towards creepy guys. And like, definitely, I never thought about that, but it's so true.
Yeah, that makes sense.
That is nice that your TikTok community is so supportive though, because sometimes you hear, like when I'll talk to like a TikTok creator, sometimes they'll be like, oh, they're so savage because they're almost like anonymous in a sense on TikTok. Like even when I read my TikTok sometimes I'm like, oh my God, you guys are such bullies. Like, so it's so nice and like refreshing to hear that like if you work hard and you grow a strong community of like supportive men and women, that like it doesn't always have to be that toxic energy.
Yes.
Yeah, I wonder why there is that disconnect, like why Instagram is more like that, because I totally relate. Like there are usually a lot more creepy men on Instagram.
Yeah.
Just in general.
You know what? I think maybe it's like the way society has viewed both of the platforms. I feel like Instagram, it's like more like scroll for your pleasure, and then like for TikTok, it's more like, oh, let me learn something like valuable from this. It's more of like a, I don't know.
Like education platform?
Yeah. Which is crazy.
That's true. What would you say, Keltie?
And I also feel, well, I agree fully. And like, I think I've learned a lot about social media in any form. It's like you get what you give a little. Of course, like you get to the point of like a Charli D'Amelio, there's just everyone's looking at you, so you're going to get everything. But you kind of can cultivate an audience. And like Nona is the best example of like you scream positivity. Because even when Sav brought that up, I was like, how can anyone be mean to you? Like I'd fight these people. I was like, you're just like, all you say is like positive. I can't imagine someone that's angry viewing your content because you are so positive and inspiring and motivating, just like a bubble of light, like I said. And so I think the more, and I've even noticed this on my YouTube section is like super positive because like I'm not, we don't sit there and do drama, but if you want to go into drama and you want to get views by being crazy and toxic and drama filled, you're going to get the people that want drama. So it's kind of, you get what you give. And of course, occasionally you'll go viral and get out of your community. And then that's when the crazy people come. But like I'd be just even interested, like, is that a conscious decision or is it just like, I'm just posting like positivity and I'm only going to feed into the positivity? Or like, it would be kind of nice to know like your mindset when you film a TikTok or in the fitness community, like how you want to present yourself.
Yeah, I feel like if I'm posting content, like whenever I post something, I'm like, what will this video contribute to the viewer in some sense, in a positive aspect? I don't know if it's just like being a happy person or just like posting something like optimistic or stuff like that, because I know that like life is like hard and like majority of the users who are on TikTok, like they spend their time to escape something. So like I don't want to like add something negative to that or like create drama, which is like increases like that viewer's cortisol or something. It's just not who I am, to be honest, in the first place. So it's just like I just want to bring happy vibes everywhere to everybody. Yeah.
A lot of those accounts that do, maybe they get the clout, they are like successful by like judging others. We all know those accounts that are on YouTube, and I mean I've heard TikToks really popular where people come after you on form, whatever it is. I just like, in a sense, feel bad for them in that, like, how they have to live their life with that, because, like, I'm a strong believer in, like, your energy and, like, what lowers your vibrations, and, like, gossiping and doing, like negative viewpoints, like, that lowers your energy so much, and, like, the energy that you put out, that I think it's amazing that you're protecting your space and you're like, hey, I don't want to stoop down to that. Like, I just want to share love, because I'm sure if you've seen those accounts, it gives me anxiety watching those things. And it makes me feel like, wow, like, that's horrible and, like, just negative, and it lowers my energy just watching it. So I think it's amazing that, like, you give that chance for someone to, like, you know, have, like, a positive outlook on things and just be lighthearted, and, like, the world is so dark that, like, there's nothing wrong with you wanting to, like, just, you know, share love and positivity and just have it simply be that. I think you should be allowed to just solely do that.
Exactly. And you know what's crazy? Like, a good example, I don't know if you guys are familiar with the creator JPG Coaching.
I feel like you told me about him, maybe.
That sounds familiar.
Yeah, so basically, he used to be one of those accounts where he, like, would duet or stitch a girl or anybody and just criticize and literally just, like, kind of, like, in some way bash on them. And then he got called out a couple times, and now he completely changed. He's all about supporting now. He doesn't criticize people. And, like, I used to hate him, but now I love him. Like, I will do anything for this man. But, like, it's crazy how, like, just shifting your perspective, that creator, even though I hated him, but now because he changed and he, like, learned from his mistakes, now I'm like, you know what? I do support you.
Normalize growth over cancellation. Like, you know what I mean? Like,
right?
if you do something wrong,
yes,
you get, like, a couple weeks to, like, figure yourself out, come back better. And those people, I'm like, if you do something wrong and you grow from it, I'm like, those are people you want. And I was like, the people that, so normalize that. But it made me think of something.
Yes.
Nona, so you're obviously like the positivity and all that. So what's your For You page like? Because I'm interested. Like, what are you getting? That's what I want to know, the Tia. Because I was like,
my God,
you get what you give. So I was like, I bet you have a really good For You page.
Yeah. Oh my God, I'm so happy because I think I was on Fit Talk for the longest time, and then I kind of didn't like it because, like, you know, like, too much of something is bad. And then now I'm on, like, affirmation talk, manifestation talk, spirituality, and then dogs.
Oh, yes. That's the goal. That's the goal.
Person, if there's dogs,
which is a cherry on
You've
top.
done the work.
Literally.
You've done the work on TikTok.
I've done the work.
I love that.
Yes. And it's the best thing ever, bro. I see so many doggies, and it's so cute. It makes me want to go adopt, like, 100.
100%. I love that. I feel like if you have a dog in your For You page consistently, like, you are the shit. Like, you are, like, you have mastered TikTok, because, like, you can still have what you're interested in, but then they also know, like, oh, she's one that likes dogs. And, like, you're a great person if you love dogs, you know?
It's true.
Literally.
The algorithm is rewarding you. It's like, you've seen enough of the education. Here's a little treat for you. Here's a nice little golden retriever picking up a ball or something.
Oh my God, that's so funny, because last night I stumbled upon this TikTok where, like, this golden retriever, this girl is sitting down with her cup, and this golden retriever comes and drops the ball into the cup. Like, to play.
Oh my gosh, wait, that was on my For You page too. Yes. And it was like,
I would love to know how much ours is the same. Sorry, go on. I interrupted.
Wasn't it like she went to film herself having a nice quiet morning, and then he just, like, drops it in her cup, and she's like, well, yes.
I love
There was
that.
this one, do you ever I love, like, pranks. And there was this one where people are doing this, like, this is so random, but they put a water bottle to their ceiling fan, and then they put
Oh, I saw that one! With the dad, right?
Did you see the dad? I literally was crying.
He wouldn't move too.
It.
He just stood there.
Yes, I only watch TikTok when I'm on the Stairmaster as, like, my guilty pleasure.
Yeah.
And, like, that came up, and I was, like, screaming, like, laughing so hard. I sent it to my dad, like, thinking, dude, and he wouldn't move. It was Keltie, we have to send it to you. We had to post it on our Hitting the Bars, like, page too.
I need to see it.
It is the best TikTok video
I loved it. I loved it.
So now I'm kind of curious because we were talking a lot like fitness talk. Now I know you're like, let's get away from it. So we're like, oh, let's bring it right back. No, we don't want to spend too much time. Like you said, we're not trying to be a spill channel or anything, but I'm just interested more in like, where do you see the state of fitness on TikTok? Because like I think it's interesting, like it is a bit of a younger generation versus like YouTube is like a bit stuck in like 5 years in the past on like fitness. And I'd just be interested like whether it be what you noticed is really popular from like just booty workouts or just certain foods, or that girl was a thing. Just kind of where do you feel the state of fitness TikTok is right now?
I feel like from my feed, Pilates is like gaining a lot of popularity because I think Lori Harvey like said that that's how she got her abs. So it's like been dominating TikTok. And then weightlifting is there. I think those two really. And you know what? You know how there was this like one trend on the treadmill? It's like the
330?
Yeah, 330. I think people are replacing that with the Stairmaster now. Yeah. But you know what? It's really interesting. It like always changes.
Well, that's what I was going to say. I feel like fitness is in a cycle always, and like people, it is really funny, like people like reinvent things all the time, and it's like, and just formatted in a different way. Like Pilates was really in 20 years ago because girls didn't want to get muscular, but they wanted to get quote unquote toned, and then that kind of dies down and girls want to be empowered, and you know, you see how much more you can gain muscle faster weightlifting, and all toning is gaining muscle, so that gets in. And then so it's so funny, but I've noticed on TikTok the irony is like the cycles are like 3 months, the trends. You know, one for like weightlifting big to Pilates, then it'll go back to weightlifting, then it'll be running, and like versus like it's usually like a 10-year cycle. It's now just like what's hot. Like Pilates will be hot this summer, and then it'll be like, oh, you still do Pilates in September?
Yeah, that's crazy. But you know what? I just hope people find something that they're happy with and like run with it. You know, like I hope people don't switch it up because of trend or something.
Yeah. I feel like also, and maybe this is just my own thoughts, but for a while I felt like cardio, like running or things like Pilates was almost like canceled. Like they were like, no, like we all know those kinds of influencers that are like, you must weightlift, you must count macros, otherwise there will be no success. Where like, I think now women are kind of being like, screw that mentality. Like weightlifting is great and there's tons of benefits and I do love it, but like, you know, maybe lifting heavy is not the best for your body long term, or maybe they find joy in doing Pilates or running, even though they may not see like the crazy definitions, whatever it may be. I think it's really amazing that we can like incorporate those things back into being like, hey, movement is great for your body in general. Pilates actually helps with like core strength and pinpointing those muscles, opposed to like if you're lifting heavy. I don't know. Do you guys feel that way at all? Like I've just noticed that over the years. Like before you're almost like shamed if you liked cardio, where now it's kind of like more accepted that there's different forms of training and there is no right or wrong way.
Yeah, no, I agree. I feel like TikTok like demonized cardio for a while. Like you better not do that. You're killing your gains. And I'm like, bro, come on, like get out. Like you cannot be saying that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because there's like cardiovascular health or
literally the most important like muscle in your body. Yeah.
And like as much as I loved lifting heavy, I don't even lift heavy anymore. Like I just feel like over time I prefer to like be more cautious of like my joints or just go a different route in training. And I think there's nothing wrong with that.
No, I 100% agree. 100% agree. And you know, you could still be like toned and like build muscle with lifting lighter weights. Like you don't have to go heavy. And I feel like a lot of people that I've been talking to, like they're like starting to like not lift heavy anymore. And they still have amazing physiques. So it's nice.
100%. Yeah. I think at the end of the day, it truly depends on you, what you find joy in, your genetics. Like everyone's body's different. Like maybe I could do 1,000 sit-ups each day doesn't mean I'm gonna get chiseled abs, right? Like it's just everyone's body differs so much, and I think that's really neat that like we have these platforms to like, hey, this might help, but at the same time kind of open it up and just, I don't know where I'm going with this, open it up for discussion and everyone can try it out.
Even I think of like good, and it's so not sexy, but like I think this will always sum it up in fitness. And like Nona's a great example. Bring it back to what we said at the start. Is like just find something you like, so you consistently do it. Consistency breeds results. Like it's cheesy because if you lift low, high rep consistently over time, you'll gain muscle. If you lift heavy, I screwed that up. High rep, low weight, or the complete opposite, high weight, low rep. You're still going to build muscle. And yeah, you can optimize it, but it's not optimizing like starting a new program like every 30 days. And like Nona's a great example of like being consistent and putting in the work, and then you see results. And so I think it's like simple as that. And I'm curious now, because we talked a lot about that. Like, what is your current like split? What's your workouts? What are you doing in the gym? What's sparking joy from the cardio or the weights or stretching? Kind of what is your weekly routine looking like right now?
So I do have like days like I have like back, bicep, shoulder, tricep, like hamstring, glutes, full leg day, and then like cardio abs or something like that. But I never I just go based on how I feel during that day. So if I feel like, oh, it's a lower body day, but I'm like, you know what, I kind of feel like I want to do upper body, like I'll like switch it out with like any other day. Yeah, I'm not like very like restricted. I'm more like, I'm gonna just go with the flow.
I like that. There's people throw around the term like intuitive dieting, but I was like, what about intuitive training? Like, you know what I mean? You're like, my legs are too sore, I'm gonna have a crappy leg day, let's do upper body, and not being so rigid. And like, and you'll still see results because you have to be in tune with your body.
Yes.
And like easier said than done, because you're like, what does that mean? But it's like you put in the work and
100%.
you'll eventually kind of understand your body a bit better and like what it needs in that moment.
Yeah.
Exactly. 100%. How about you guys?
Well, did you, Nona, quick question. Did you ever go through a phase where you were really strict and you didn't like it? Or have you always been
yeah. No, I
that?
went through a phase. I think this was like 3 years ago. But I had like this really strict split, and then I was in a deficit at the same time. And it was a nice physique that I had. Like, I did like it. I think that was like the peak physique that I was in, but it was not good. Like, I don't think I looked healthy, but I wasn't healthy. You know? And I was just like,
How so?
just because like I felt like I was low-key like falling into an eating disorder, like on the brink of it. And then I was just like just miserable. Like, I wasn't happy. I was just like struggling a lot. I was like sleeping a lot because I had like no energy whatsoever. It was just like not good. So I was like, you know what, like it's not worth it for me, you know? I'm not competing. Like, why am I doing this?
Yeah,
you know?
Exactly.
So
And
yeah,
I think that's
totally.
so common, and like such a, I don't even know how to paint this, but it's so common. People get into fitness, they start seeing results, they want to see more results, and it's very cliche almost, like, or not cliche, just so many of us have gone through it. It's like you diet down to this like really low weight and you're not performing, and then it almost messes with your mind too, because even you said there, you're like, oh, that was my best physique, and I was like, I don't think it was. Like, I think you have an absolutely amazing physique, but it's more just like fitness says like the leanest, that's the best.
The
and
better,
you'll forever compare yourself to something that's like not healthy and not in shape, and then like it plays mind games. So it's almost better long term to like never go down that route, as much as we're like want to chase like the absolute most shredded. And if you're a bodybuilder, okay, that's different. I don't think a lot of bodybuilders are listening to us for the most optimized way to work out, but I think, yeah, it's just a reminder that if you're like kind of in that cycle where you like can't break free from your workout, can't break free of your like deficit, you'll eventually will break free from that routine, and it won't serve you in the long run, and it's almost better to like not open Pandora's.
exactly.
Yeah.
Well said.
I feel like when someone starts their fitness journey, I feel like a lot of women relate to that. We all like start seeing those like baby gains, or we start seeing like these changes, and we're like, oh my gosh, and it like becomes this like drug, and like you're like an addict at that point of like, I have to maintain this, and like these unrealistic expectations that like if I change my body, someone's gonna say something like I gained weight or whatever it is. It's so messed up, and I just think, yeah, a lot of women could probably relate to that. I know I can for sure. Like, I used to be, when I first started my fitness journey, I was like so lean, and like it wasn't healthy for me mentally, you know? So I totally get that. It's like once you hit that point, and then you kind of grow from it and you learn, and now like I've done it, I've been there, I've done that. liked it for that time, never want to go back
Same.
to that.
Agreed.
I'm curious, like this, I don't even know how to explain this properly, but it's just interested what you said there, like the comments on women's body. And I'm interested like from TikTok, because I feel that's like Instagram and YouTube especially is so bad for it. Like if it's caused me a lot of mental like things that like suddenly your body, I fluctuate 5 pounds every month. That's just natural. And like, it's like if I take a video at this certain time of the month, it's like, oh, she's gaining weight. And they think I'm like, no, it's just cycle. And like, if I gain a little bit, I gain a little. If I lose a little, like it's natural. Like it's not this, like, it's not that deep sometimes. Like, but the internet just like hyper focused. But I think TikTok, this is where I'd be interested for you, is like a bit more aware of like those kind of comments. Like I get like a lot of people make those comments and the commenters will be like, you don't have the right to say that. I'm just like interested like your perspective of just like the natural like comments on your body and weight fluctuations and progress and all that you get.
So I'm actually surprised. Like I know my weight has fluctuated a lot and like I've lost a lot of muscle mass. And on TikTok, I haven't heard anyone like say anything at all. But I think I made an Insta story where I talked about it, and I got a couple of DMs and like, yeah, we noticed, but you still look amazing. So it's like they're not like horrible, you know. Like I love how they're still supportive. You know, they're like, oh yeah, we know, but like don't worry about it. Like, you know, I thought it was really cute. So
that's so nice that to know like people aren't. That's because that's not what fitness is.
Yeah, literally. And I feel like it's like important to like let people know that like in your fitness journey, like your weight's gonna fluctuate. Like you're not gonna be the leanest lean, or like you're not gonna be like as built. It's like you're gonna go through phases. Like you're a living organism. Your body's going through changes as you're growing. You know, like it's just hard. And I know a lot of people like struggle mentally with that when they gain weight. They're like self-sabotaging themselves. And it's like, no, let your body be. As long as you're consistent and you don't totally give up, like, you're doing everything right, you know?
I'm intrigued because you just talked very sciencey there. I was like, I do know you eventually want to go down the med school route and you're interested in, like, that world. Like, what fascinates you? Like, what is, like, why are you drawn to, like, literally the most impressive career there possibly is? Like, I can't think of it. If there's anyone says chef the last 2 years, it's like, thank you, doctors, thank you. So I'm like, why that direction? I'd love to know.
Yeah, I mean, like, I feel like I've always wanted to become a doctor, and I think my grandpa's death, like, pushed me towards that, like, field of medicine. And then I just want to help people, and I think, like, the internal system of our bodies is just, like, magnificent. It's like a little universe with its little people helping us stay alive. So I think it's, like, really cute. That's so funny. I think it's just really cute. But yeah, it is. That is it. And then I just want to be able to one day like actually like be able to save a life and give that person a second chance. And I first wanted to go into family medicine. Then I decided to go into plastic surgery. And since my spine injury, now I just want to go into sports medicine. Did I say sports medicine? Twice?
No.
Or once. Okay, yeah. Yeah. I feel like the medicine part was like jumbling me.
Wait, question though. What made you want to go into plastic surgery for a while?
Okay, so I don't know, like some people, I just want to be able to make people confident. And so I think it's ironic because like I'm in the fitness industry, but like some people like literally are unable to achieve the body that they want. And if that's like kind of like in some sense lessening their quality of life, then I want to be able to like help change that for them. Like I believe that you should feel beautiful if that's the natural way or if that's the unnatural way. You should 100%. Just enjoy you.
I love that. I feel like also at least from my experience when I did plastic surgery, like, you know, when I got my boobs done, there wasn't a lot of female plastic surgeons. At least when I was looking. I would have loved to have a female, but, you know, there's nothing wrong with having the doctor I did have. But I just think it's a really neat perspective when there is also a female that's working on something like that, because sometimes you have questions that, you know, men may not be able to answer because they physically can't feel that way or whatever it may be.
Actually,
Exactly.
this is kind of cool because, as people know, I just got I guess it's still plastic surgery, but I got my implants out, and I had a completely female surgical staff, and it was like the coolest thing I've ever experienced. Like my surgeon, I knew going in that she was a woman, and that was awesome, and like I just really loved her energy and just her credentials and her work. But then I went into and suddenly my anesthesiologist, my bedside nurse, all the girls in there, and I just walked around. I was like, oh my God, you girls are all badass. Like it was just, and it was such a, not that men can't give comforting energy. Like my bedside nurse was actually a male and he was awesome. But like it was something about it that was so like, I don't know, I just felt like because you're so vulnerable there, like on the plastic surgery table, like you're like naked about to be cut open. It was just like all women energy. And I was like, oh, I love this. It was a really cool moment despite, getting cut open.
Yeah. Despite that part,
Yeah.
That's cool though.
That's empowering. I love that.
Yeah. How do you, Nona, want to balance like doing social media full time and also doing med school and becoming a doctor? Like how do you see your future with that?
I think it will be definitely like a little bit difficult, but again, like I feel like it could be fixed with just a schedule. Like I just have to schedule it in, like maybe a day. Instead of every day recording, it would just be one day of everything. Just boom, boom, boom. And then I would just like throw it out 7 days of the week.
Yeah, I love that. Because it's also like you can prove that like you can like balance both things. Like you totally have time. I've met so many people that whether it's social media that they want to start a channel or even if it's just like a hobby they're interested in, a lot of the times they're like, I don't have time. And I'm like, that is the biggest like self-sabotaging lie ever, because you do have time to some extent. Like I understand there are exceptions, but a lot of the times like we like to watch Netflix and like, or we like to go to happy hour with our friends, and like I think it's cool that you can sometimes just like pinpoint like I gotta do this, I'm gonna make the time. It's not that you don't have the time, you can make the time. I think that's the key in anything you're interested in, hobby, entrepreneurship. Like you can always make time.
Exactly Preach.
I'm curious then, because I think a big thing and a word that's thrown around a lot, especially on TikTok, that is like boundaries. And like, I'm just like curious, like, I know that's something like I've had to learn in the last little bit, but it can also be a double-edged sword. You can't put up boundaries that like, you don't meet people. Like there's other people, you can't just think by yourself. I'm just curious, like, is there any like hard boundaries you set up for yourself for your like fitness routine or just your like mental health or anything, whether it's be like I have to work out in the morning before I text anyone, or not going on my phone, or I have to do this part? Like do you have any that like have been really foundational to you lately?
Yeah, I feel like for me, like my day doesn't start until I get my workout in, so I have to work out in the morning, or else it's just like I feel like my entire day is ruined, which is like kind of bad, but it's just how I work. And then I just feel like more productive if I get it out in the morning. Like I just happy vibes throughout the day. And then in the mornings, like I set a rule for myself that I don't touch my phone in the mornings, especially social media. Like I stay out of it, because I feel like whatever you do in that first hour and a half of you waking up really impacts your entire day, and I don't want to be like scrolling on something. I don't know, I feel like it's so addicting. Social media is so addicting. I just want to stay away from it, which is ironic, but
I get that, because it is weird when you're like a consumer or you're a creator. Like it's a hate-love, because you want to still enjoy it, but then like you can't necessarily like unplug as easily as some people can. Like even I take example like Michael, he like is just a consumer. So like he deleted Instagram like over a month ago. He just has it on his desktop, and he says he goes on to like my things or like watch my stories. He's a little creep like that, and then he'll like not go on anymore. And like he says it's like so freeing for him, and he's so much more productive, and like his mental health is so much better, and like he's just like eliminated all these distractions. And I'm like, wow, I love that. But as a creator, sometimes like you can't do that necessarily. Like, you know, like this is your job at the moment, and you kind of do have to stay up. Especially, I imagine with TikTok, you kind of have to stay on the trends, right?
Yeah, and they're so fast. Like a trend will go and die in like 4 days, 5 days, and so if you don't catch it, then it's gone. So it's just like so like.
Oh. The phone fell.
Nona went crashing down.
That is it. That sums it up.
I love it.
Yeah, it's just it's really fast paced, which I don't like, to be honest.
And I find it'd be interesting like how you even combat this, but I've just noticed for myself the biggest like pressure with social media and like why you shouldn't check in the morning is like I'll have a plan. I'm like, even if it's creating content or my workout or emails or whatever I have, like this is my to-do for the day. As soon as I go on social media, I'm like, oh, why am I doing that? That's dumb. I should be doing this. And then you do a half-assed version of whatever someone else painted you, because you're like, first, if you're not on social media, you get your work done, you know, and like you're always in line with your goal. But like when you go on social media, you're given like 30 different goal options and they all sound great. You know, I was like, yes, I would like a bigger butt, or yes, I'd like to make more money, or this is a cool career, or I should make this for dinner. And then suddenly you're given like so many options, and then you're just like end up doing nothing because you're like overstimulated.
Totally.
And so if you can just like push it away, you're like, no, this is really what I want, not what the internet says I should want.
Yeah, I feel
Exactly.
like that's how you get also like set apart differently, you know? Like I think you get rewarded if that's what you want, like because you're unique, you're you. Like no one wants a cookie cutter like workout girl that's like copying, you know, the fad workouts. They want something unique and different. And I think, Nona, you bring that a lot on TikTok, is like you create content that's like so different than a lot of the fitness TikTokers that I've seen, you know, like with your smoothie recipes, your baking recipes, also even just like your cute little dances and just like your badass workouts. Like I just don't see a lot of those shown in other fitness pages. So I think it really sets you apart.
Thank you.
Of course. My queen.
You're my queen.
Always be your hype
I love
woman.
you.
Because I feel like another thing with you, and is that you're like a personality. You know what I mean? We love Nona, and Nona happens to do fitness. Mm-hmm. Versus I think sometimes it's like just a fitness account, which is fine, but it's just kind of like know the poise like that you pick. Like if you just want to do fitness and you want to separate, it's fine. But I was like, no, I like Nona for Nona. You could stop doing fitness, and I'd still be like, oh, let's see what you're doing in your day, and like, but it's like obviously you have a great fitness routine and you work out really hard, so we want to know the deets of it. But
Thank you. My cheeks hurt from smiling so hard. I love you guys.
Oh, we love you. Speaking of all this, though, so we're talking a lot about TikTok and Instagram. You also have a podcast as well, and we were like, what brought you into wanting to do a podcast? Like, where did that spark from?
Okay, so I think, the first time that I met RF was 2 years ago, too. Yeah, 2 years ago when the pandemic first hit. We were just talking a lot, and then we found out that we have so much in common, so much, and we both went to UCLA, and we never met each other like at UCLA. We met each other after UCLA, which was crazy. Oh, cool. And then we just like clicked, and we were like, you know what, we just want to start a podcast, and we did, and we just like babble, and we just talk about random things, and it's like very fun. Yeah. Cause
I love that. And
okay,
how did you come up with the name
Our
Muscle
supporters
Mommies?
for the longest time would call us mommies. Just like, hey, mommy. So we're like, you know what? We're just going to run with it. So we're just like, muscle mommies. What is it so funny?
And that's take 2 of Nona's. It's like Nona's phone is like drop mic. Muscle mommies, drop mic.
Yeah. Muscle Mommies. Done.
Yeah, it's a funny name, but it's honestly like, it's kind of like an inside joke between the TikTok fam and just a joke that we just took with.
Yeah. I think it's cool too, because I feel like your viewers can like also get to know you more. Like, correct me if I'm wrong, but I feel like you are a little more reserved online. Like you share mostly like your fitness, we've talked about this. You do like in order to create boundaries for yourself. So I think it's really neat that you started a podcast, because they kind of get to like hear your perspectives. And like TikTok's only, you know, a couple minutes if best of like what you think, who you are, and Instagram's truly only a photo. So it's really neat that you have that platform to be like, hey, look, like I bet not a lot of people know that you want to be a doctor, or you know all these cool facts about you. So I think I personally love listening to podcasts because I'm like, what is Nona up to?
Thank
Boom.
you. I definitely do feel like on my podcast, like I open up a lot more. Like I just say whatever's on my mind and like run with it. And I feel like my podcast is like a safe space for me. Like I just like say what I feel like saying, like thinking. Whereas like on social media, I'm just like, I don't feel comfortable doing that yet, you know?
Yeah. I feel like it also like the true people that like think like you and are supportive and like positive are going to go towards your podcast. So I totally get it, feels safe, because like for Keltie and I, like we have our podcast Instagram like private, and it's like I feel so safe in that community. Like I don't mind going live because I know there's not gonna be like a bunch of creepy men being like saying all weird things on the like live. Scares me. I've had like bad experiences with lives, so like it is cool because podcasts like allows you to have this safe space of like supporters. And I even think of like my favorite podcast and how like invested I am with those ladies, and it's so cool because you really get to know them as a person and their actual thoughts unedited.
Agreed. I love it. I feel like I'm closer whenever I listen to a podcast. Like I know the person. Like we're besties.
Who is your favorite to listen to?
I actually listen to a lot of educational podcasts, and I think right now it's Huberman Lab. I love.
That's like number. I could, of course, you're a medical student, so like you're gonna go that route, so it makes sense. But he's like, I feel like my personality is just quoting Andrew Huberman on my podcast. I mean, on YouTube. And who else? Sorry, I interrupted.
No, Huberman's like the one person I like listen to religiously. I used to listen to Joe Rogan because I just like to hear like other perspectives and viewpoints. And then I listened to recently The Life of a CEO. I think he's really interesting. I really like him. And then who else? Naval? I don't know how to pronounce it. Naval. Yeah, I like his podcast too.
Oh my god, you that's very like a sophisticated
100%.
podcast. Like you know what I mean? Like I was like, that's like a quality. I was like, you know like when people say like the books they like, and some it's like, oh you're trash, and then people like say like some really profound. I was like, that was the profound podcast. I was like, that's respectful. That's why you're so well spoken. Well, you're smart. You know what I mean? It's not you just see a pretty face. I was like, no, she's got deep thoughts deep in there. I was like, that like Naval. Oh my god. So
I love him. Literally.
So good.
Yeah.
I was like, it's just I feel smart when I listen to ones like that. I was like, I just know so much about philosophy and science.
I know. Like, I feel like I'm a changed person whenever I listen.
Right?
Yeah.
So,
I feel like when it's an education podcast, you feel like you're productive as well.
Yeah. Like I'm not wasting my time.
Yeah. Like I do love the mindless junk from time to time, but when it's like a topic you're actually like, wait, I kind of would like more knowledge on that. A podcast is perfect.
Yeah. Literally the best. The best.
I just
How about you guys?
convince. Oh, I could go on forever. But like I convinced myself I'm like in university again when I listened to someone like Andrew Huberman. I was like, it's just a Stanford class. Like I'm so educated. Oh my god. Who are my favorites? I think I'd have to look it up. I listen to way too many. Andrew Huberman's my like go-to. Have you seen his like spin-off? What's it? Like Lifespan? I thought that was interesting. It's like it's sponsored by him. It's like another professor. You'll like this one. I should find it. That's David or something, and it's all about like all the science behind of extending life. So like those kind of ones are interesting. I'm trying to pull up How I Built This, Tim Ferriss, Life as CEO with the Performance Podcast, Him and Her. Oh, that's Skinny Confidential. TMG. That like then there's a couple of my like guilty pleasures like The Morning Toast and TMG. I was like, those are just my people. That's what I just need a nice little conversation.
Yeah,
I don't need it too deep.
Do you ever too Sometimes like I like to find new podcasts by I'll type in a topic and then I'll like shift through, because like I do love listening to like the same certain podcasts, but sometimes if I'm like, okay, today I want to learn more on intermittent fasting or something, I will try to like find a new podcast that way, because like I feel like sometimes the app isn't as like forgiving with like it doesn't recommend a lot to you unless it's like the most popular ones immediately. So I think that's kind of a cool way is if you're like interested in a topic and like finding someone that like specializes in it. Like I feel like there's a lot of naturopathic doctors that have podcasts that like for a while I was researching like hormonal birth control, and like you just find different perspectives, and it doesn't necessarily mean that I like listen to all of their topics, but just like get different viewpoints, I guess. I like that.
Yeah, and
that form.
Yeah, exactly. And isn't it wonderful that we live in a day and age where like we could hear doctors' opinions like for free?
Totally.
That's
It's crazy.
so amazing. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And
Just
like
so
also
much...
Oh, sorry, I interrupted. Keep going.
No, just so much information.
Yeah, I was just gonna say, and also I think is really nice about podcasters is like I feel or podcasting, it's a really less stressful on like there's no algorithm to it. Like there's a little bit like if you race this chart of the charts and like a little bit, it's not like social media. It's like YouTube and TikTok and Instagram now are like it's like this is what we want you to view. Versus like I feel podcasts, it's like what do I want? And it's like who I subscribe to. Go and search for those topics, and that's why I think it's also like a safe space. And anyone like even listening right now is probably like, I came because I love Nona. I love like hitting the bars. These are my people, and it feels like understood. Versus like TikTok's like, no, we think you want this, and I'm like, do I want this? I don't know.
Exactly.
Yeah,
That is so true because
go ahead, Nona.
No, go.
No, Nona, you go.
I was gonna say, in regards to what you said, Keltie, about TikTok, it's like how they're like, you think you want this, but I don't. That was, for the longest time, I was stuck on Fit Talk, and I just hated it. So it was just funny that you brought that up.
Yeah, fully.
Yeah, I was gonna say on piggybacking with the podcast that you want to actually listen to it. Recently, I don't know how to word it, but like Michael, he follows this one guy that's like, everyone's like, oh, he's fake, he's doing it for views. His name's Liver King, right? And like, honestly, I don't know too much about Liver King, but I know Michael, like, he just, like, is, like, fascinated by the extremes of Liver King. And he's like, I literally don't know where he gets this. I don't, like, is this legit? And he recently went on a podcast, and Michael, like, tuned in. And so I started listening to it because he's like, he actually had a lot of science behind why he does what he does. And, like, there was a, like, reason why he, like, kind of shifted to that like carnivore diet, and like doesn't mean that's how you should go about it, or it doesn't mean 100% of it is like I don't know how to word it, like we don't actually know where he was getting his information from. But it's cool because podcasts give you that opportunity to like kind of listen to why a person is the way they are, and like hear their background, and that like I would have just thought off of like first impressions that like, no, this guy is just eating like raw liver and drinking blood because he wants the views. But then you actually just like get to like know more about him and learn like just these different perspectives I never would have thought of.
No way, I want to listen to it.
Yeah, I think it was on what is Jake or is it Logan Paul's podcast?
Impulsive. I listened to the same episode. Yeah.
Okay, yeah, I'll watch it. Because
I think that's
fascinating.
Right?
Oh, for sure. And also like normalize like listening to like different points of views, because like I think like you just instantly see a clickbait on TikTok and you're like, I hate you because this, and like you're not in my camp. But like podcasts allow you to like listen to so many opinions. Like one of my guilty pleasures is listening to people like I don't agree with at all, to be like, where do you come from? And by the end of it, even if I still don't agree with them, I'm like, you know what, I see your point of view, but I'm not going to take it. But I think like that's a nice like thing that podcasts allows, like get away from like the clickbaitness and see where people come from.
Agreed. Yeah, I feel like people, like 100%. A lot of people like want to stick to a viewpoint and run with it for their entire life, but I feel like it's just so healthy just to like, yeah, you might not agree, but just listen to why that person like disagrees with your viewpoint or like stuff like that. I think just like it, like just be open-minded and stuff.
There are always the faults in the extremes, so
exactly.
Always. That's beautiful.
That's like I've just always thought of that because you see all these people that even when it comes to politics or religion or whatever it may be, it's like if you are so extreme one way or the other, it doesn't matter which way it is, and you aren't willing to at least just hear another side, that is when there's a fault. Because like there's always two sides to every freaking story. Like there's a reason the world is the way it is. Like there's a reason we don't all think the same. And yeah, you're totally right. You don't have to agree with it, but at least you can like make a conscious like decision after you've like learned the other viewpoint. And I think a lot of people, especially now in this day and age, won't. They're like, you're wrong no matter what. They like stop being friends with some people dependent on like their certain beliefs or whatever it is. It's just like, when did we come so black or white? Like it's not always black or white no matter what conversation it is, you know?
And you know what, there was a research done that like they got extremists from both ends, and they found out that they actually share a lot of similarities rather than differences.
Wow. But like, is it they don't even realize it because they're not willing to like view?
Yeah, to listen. Yeah, exactly.
That's crazy.
I'm curious. I'm curious. Here's a little thought experiment, because like I agree fully. Like I always find it funny, like vegans versus like keto. We'll just use it as polar opposite. And like when you do the foundational, it's all about like sustainable local food that optimizes your hormones, like that, or whatever it is. It's like your guys are kind of battling the same thing, but in different echo chambers. And I feel a lot of that, and I feel a lot of us fall in the middle with most things: politics, fitness, anything. We're like kind of in the middle, but still, what sells is like clickbait and just extremism and all this. Do you think is it gonna get worse, or is there gonna be a shift? Like, do we think in a couple of years, like even people on YouTube, I see it, like people, the clickbait works, like those really trendy, extreme topics, but at the same time, people are like almost exhausted by it. And like people are starting to realize that like the extremes aren't always good. Do you think it's gonna have to go that people get more and more and more extreme, or do you think in a couple of years or even a year, we're gonna do the opposite and people are gonna be like, no clickbait, no like extremism, no cancellation, like the cancellation of cancel culture is what I'm kind of getting at. What direction do you think it's gonna go?
Oh my god, I don't know, man. I feel like clickbait will always be there. I feel like people like the little drama or like attention grabbing, but I don't know. I feel like we're also shifting towards a minimalistic viewpoint too, like in social media. So yeah, I don't know. What do you guys think?
Sav, what do you think?
You go first, Keltie. I'm still collecting my thoughts.
The only connection I have is just like, I truly believe everything in life is a cycle, because it's just human nature to like something, consume too much of it, get sick of it, want to go the opposite way and repeat. And like the best example I could ever have is like fashion. Because we all are like, I've seen it now that like we're all approaching like, you know, a full 2 to 3 decades of life kind of thing. It's been enough time to see a cycle. And the mind-blowing thing was I grabbed I think it was Gucci or Louis Vuitton. Like, you know how they have those catwalk books? That like the bedside table. So I was looking through one at a bookstore, and I went back like to the 80s, and it was, you know, just think of like a Gucci tracksuit, like logos on logos on logos. It was that. And then I flipped 10 more years, and it was minimalism, and it was just like no logos, very like like secret luxury. So it's Gucci, but it's plain or whatever. It's like Hermes, you don't see the logo, that gets big. And then the opposite, people get bored, and so people are like logos, and then it becomes retro. And so even we see it with 90s and fashion, like all that stuff that was like really tacky 10 years ago is now in. And like I just think that's just like human nature. Like it goes like people need clickbait, they need like overstimulation, and then we're like, oh, just give me like peace and tranquility, and then we fall back. And so I think it's going to be a little bit of a cycle. I see it on YouTube even. TikTok's a different beast, but I see it on YouTube. Like people before wanted like extremism, and now people just want like simple, plain backgrounds, just like what's your routine, and then routines get too boring, and so we're on extreme. And like I think it's just like accepting that's just people.
Yeah,
I agree.
It's almost like a shock value. Like you're saying, like they get like desensitized to it, or like it because like those clickbaits may become like a norm that you're like, oh, another one saying they're gonna get abs by doing like a 5-minute circuit, right? But then like you go the other route, but then you almost like miss that shock factor. So then like you come back and it's like brand new again, and it's like releasing those endorphins all over again.
Yeah,
fully.
You know?
Or even like shock is different, because like the shock value would be extreme, but then suddenly when everything's extreme, what's shocking is something that's minimal. Do you know what I mean? Just think of like if you have crowded logos, a plain white tee stands out versus everything's plain white, the crazy logos stand out. And so I think like that's even just where it is. And I personally like, and everyone, and I think that's also, it's like neither's wrong. Some people, my best friends like that, she loves logos and fake eyelashes and extreme. And so right now she's been thriving. And then like me, I've always been a bit more like simple, minimalism, like natural. And so I'm like, oh, okay, I've adapted, but now it's like, hey, let's go into mine. And then I will be out and that will be it. And it's just kind of stay true. Whatever you like will come back in fashion eventually, or whatever fitness routine you'll have will be trendy again, or whatever it is. So I think it's just like always just do what you want, because it will come and go in fashion.
Exactly. History repeats itself.
Yes. Mm-hmm. That sums it up so nicely. I had 5 minutes and Nona said it in 3 words.
There you go. It's also kind of creepy to think about. Like, I think about back when my parents, when in their 20s, about 40 years ago, there wasn't like social media. There wasn't, like, it's just crazy how far we've come and how fresh and new this is still. Yeah. Like, my mom was back into bodybuilding, and she said she like looked up to this one woman that like, she was a bodybuilder, but back then it was more like really slim and lean and more like Bikini Bro. Mm-hmm. And like she had like sold VHSs, and it was more on like, oh my gosh, what is it called? Aerobics. Yes. It was more like that. So, so like it'll be interesting in 20-year time, even 40 years, to be like, what is now the new trend? What is the new clickbait? Like, what the heck is the world even going to be like in 40 years? It's kind of scary to think about. Because of how fast things are changing. But, yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, like, I mean, TikTok wasn't even really a thing until, I feel like it blew up over COVID. And that wasn't even that's what, 2 years ago? Crazy.
Wait, okay, what do you guys think about, because I don't know if you guys heard about Emma Chamberlain and what she said about influencers, but I didn't listen to it, but it's all over TikTok, and she was like, the influencer marketplace is getting so saturated that at one point we're all just going to die out.
So big Emma Chamberlain fan, and it's interesting to hear like TikTok, because she gave 2 perspectives, and she didn't know what it was either like, because you see it now, like versus 10 years ago, if you had 100 followers, that meant a lot of people followed you. And if you had 10,000, you were famous. And now it's like 10,000, like just most girls at a high school, but not most girls, but you know what I mean? That's like you're a pretty girl in a small town, you'll have 10,000 versus like you have to have millions to be considered like affluential. So like the kind of idea is like if everyone has followers, everyone starts following each other, which I think could be it. It's just kind of like everyone, I just think it will become more like, think of your city and think of social media as your city. And like there will still be the people who go to LA and are big on movies, and so there'll still be the influencers that are massive and big, but then there's going to be like more local celebrities, like your favorite coffee shop's going to have more following. And then like it's just like, I mean, things have always been popular and unpopular, and people have big followings and people know each other in the city, and I just think people will gravitate a bit more towards like niche-y things. So like you're a bit more likely to follow like a fitness person in your city versus like just following who's who in LA. Like I just think it'll become a lot more. And I think the best thing about TikTok, which is it's very geographical, like you can almost be like without having to go to LA, or as a Canadian, like I follow people that are just kind of popular in Canada because that's just relevant to me. So I think it'll be a lot more like niche micro people can have full on like careers. I think that's the direction. I might not have answered it, but that's kind of how I feel about her conversation.
I agree. I didn't listen to the podcast.
Well, I need to listen to this.
Mm-hmm. So when I got that segment off of TikTok, I was like, whoa, that's a little bit extreme. So now that you like broke it down, it makes a lot of sense.
Yeah. That's why podcasts are good.
Yeah. I also think maybe it's like easier for her to say now that she is now like a legitimate celebrity kind of thing. Like, I don't know. I guess there are trillions of people in this world that like, I really don't, no matter what the platform is, I always think there will be like someone that grows from it and like creates a following. And I think whether it's like to spread positivity, whether it's like for information, Or maybe it's like, I don't know, I follow some influencers solely because I like how they remodel their house. Like, there's always going to be something, I think, online. But yeah, I think you're totally right, where it could be dependent on your demographic or more zoned in. I really now, is it on her podcast?
She did a 3-part series. I really recommend it. It was like, 1 was like trend cycles, 2 was influencers, social media, and like the third one, not in that order, was like mainstream media. So it was kind of like the state of influence, the state of like a actor, singer, so like that. And then the third was just like trend cycles in general. And honestly, it was a lot of things we talked about today, whether it be like trends of like vintage, like stuff, even we could go back to like that minimalism and that. Like I think one trends that are really coming back is like shopping vintage. And like people are kind of sick of fast fashion, which is so nice to see. But like for a little while there, it was overwhelming. Like a shirt would blow up on TikTok, and then it was like everyone had it. And by the time it actually came in, it's already out of fashion. Like,
literally.
You know what I mean? So like it was like, which is the most toxic thing we could possibly do, is just like encourage like that kind of trend cycle.
Yeah. Agreed.
This is random, but do you guys ever think, because of the way we were raised, like, I think, Keltie and I are millennials and you're Gen Z, right? And, like, we technically grew up with, like, quote-unquote celebrities as, like, legitimate movie stars, like, because there wasn't social media. And I find it so interesting now that people, like, now that social media is so popular, and, like, it didn't get popular for me until after, like, really college. So, like, it's crazy now that influencers are celebrities to those, you know, younger audiences, because they don't consider what I guess my movie star people. I'm like, oh my God, you're legit a celebrity. Like, you are in a movie I just saw acting it out. Like, do you guys view that as well?
Yeah, definitely.
Oh, fully. Like I feel it's a beautiful thing, or you could say it's like a bad thing, but I think it's great, because the problem about Hollywood is it was like, you're tall, skinny, blonde, that you're beautiful, this is who we want in front. Like, this is like Hollywood got to shape what the body types were, what the, you know, everything about what was quote unquote perfect and famous. And now, because of, like I said, it's like regional, and you have a bit more in your niche, like any body type, any personality, any niche can like find their following and grow. And like it's a bit more like back to like the niche celebrities versus just like this like 1% of what like Hollywood feeds us. But it is interesting to have like witnessed both. Like I remember when it was just like Leo was like like that's all it was. It is untouchable. And now we have like a bunch of just like, not just like, but like influencers like that are like running the game, which is kind of nice. Like anyone can make it. Like you don't have to move across the world to make it a career.
I feel like back then, like Hollywood chose who would be celebrities, but now like the people choose who are the celebrities.
Yes.
Yeah.
And they're more touchable in a sense of like you're normal. Like, and Nona, you literally have millions that follow you and look up to you, and you like live a very normal life. And like I think that's so neat, because back when we were growing up, the Jonas Brothers, like all those people that were like the quote unquote crazy celebrities that had media, they lived far from a normal life. So I just think that's really neat, and that's what I love about how big this world is like, isn't it weird when you can go online and you see someone that has like millions of followers and you've never even heard of them? I think that is so cool. They can live a normal freaking life and just like go about their days and like share whatever they want to share. I think that's so cool.
I think that's amazing. It's like incognito. It's like the secret hidden thing. It's like, you don't know this about me, but...
Fun fact, like, very Batman. Christian Bale,
very.
or they're not Christian Bale by day. Oh my God, I forget who Batman is by day. I'm blanking.
It's like living
Someone
a double
screaming.
life.
Yeah.
Or...
Oh my God,
Montana.
literally.
Come on, guys.
We're all Hannah Montana.
We're all Hannah
Nobody's
Montana.
perfect.
Wow, Miley.
Love her.
Forever a
That was
Miley
my
fan.
show
I
growing
love
up.
her.
Oh, so
100%.
good.
Oh my God,
So
I miss.
good.
She, like, I absolutely love that she performs Hannah Montana songs. And, like, the See You Again album, that this is, like, thrown it way back, but I love Miley Cyrus. Like, she will perform those now. And I love it. And I'm like, you know what? Way to, like, you know, tip off, like, your your first fans and like people that supported you before you blew up into like this adult megastar, right? Like I think it's so cool that she's like humble to be like, this is where I started.
Yeah.
Hannah Montana. And she sings like legit like the Hoedown Throwdown.
I love that.
God, that makes me love her 10 times more.
Yeah.
It's just like we stand a humble queen.
She's a queen. Definitely.
Well, I think we're going to wrap this up, Nona. Thank you for coming on. I have one more question for you. We want to end it with an embarrassing story. We're embarrassing girls, okay? We embrace it. So is it a gym story? It could literally be anything that pops into your mind.
Okay,
Give it away.
So I have a gym story, and literally I think it haunts me to this day. But so it was in college, and I always used to like do my ab workouts in my apartment gym. And every single time I went, there was these two couples that I always saw, and we never spoke. Like, it's a tiny gym, like really tiny. So it's like we knew each other's presence 100%. I was sweaty. I was on the mat doing my ab workout, and then I got a whiff of air like stuck between my back. So it made a huge fart noise, like huge fart noise. I got so embarrassed, and this made it worse, but I got up and he immediately left. And I got the weirdest look from the girl and the guy, like just
I love that.
It was just my back. I never like went back again. I'm like that was when COVID like hit the next week, so everything was like closed, and I was like, thank God, because that was so embarrassing.
Wait, that is so funny. And you...
The fact that I got up and rushed out made it so worse.
What an asshole!
What else can you do though? What are you gonna say? That was my back? Still sounds guilty, you know?
Yeah. I'm sorry. I had a sweaty back.
I love that. I hope they follow you and they're like, we heard Nona fart. Like, how funny. Just
she's disgusting.
Takes you down. Yeah. Gross girl
Those
TikTok.
Never be that person at the gym. Never be that like fart away or make those up, but never be the person that's like just be like, it's okay. Yeah. I do it too. Just like, you know what I mean?
Totally.
Just like or just
go
pretending.
Queen. That's what she should have said.
Yeah. Be like, you're getting your fiber in. We're proud of you.
I'm dead. Yeah, but that's
that.
like the most embarrassing story of a gym story I have.
That's a fantastic, embarrassing story.
That's a good one.
Thank you for trusting us with your fart story. And now, you know, it's a little questionable. Are you trying to save face, or did you actually fart?
No, it was literally just the air, because I was doing it multiple times.
Yeah,
it was like,
those are the worst.
I know. Yeah,
it was so bad, but yeah.
Oh, that's
you gotta
funny.
do what you gotta do.
True.
Anything for the abs.
Literally, yeah.
Well, cool. I think that does it for our first guest. Nona, thank you for coming on.
Of course.
Please plug away. Where can we find you on social media?
At Nona Bayot on TikTok and Insta and YouTube, but I don't really post on there. So Insta and TikTok.
And also Muscle Mummies podcast and YouTube channel if you want to check it out.
Found on Spotify.
Yep. Yes. Mm-hmm. Yes. Thank you. Yes. Thank you girls, as always. It was so nice speaking to you, my queens. I missed you guys so much.
Miss you. And the next time we'll all be together, we'll record like an in-person one. We'll have an in-person podcast. It'll be even 10 times better.
I love that.
100%,
no technical
100%.
difficulties there.
Period. Yes.
All right. Well, everybody, thank you for tuning in. Leave a review. Say hello to Nona. Let her know that you listened to the podcast that she was on. And we will see you next week.
Love you guys. Bye.
Bye.